Whenever I'm in the forest, I feel a certain amount of calm and peace and tranquility that I don't get anywhere else, which really drove me to continue to explore a career in forestry. I'm Shawn McGrath, and I practice restorative forestry. I started working in forestry when I was about 19. I moved to British Columbia to start tree planting. So after about 8 years working in Western Canada for a tree planting company, I moved back to Eastern Canada to attend Maritime College of Forest Technology in Fredericton, Nouveau-Brunswick. After working for so many years in forests that were all clear cuts, I started practicing more in fully intact forests. And one, just recognized how much nicer it is, how much cooler, how much more shade, how much less debris there is to trip over, but mostly how much more opportunity there is. When you have an intact forest, there's so much more you can do with it to make the ecology flourish. Some people think all forestry is bad forestry. The two schools of thought that I've come across and are dominant are industry, which are generally manufacturers who produce consumer products out of wood that they extract from the forest. The other group that would be present in forestry would be conservationists that generally want to see forests be left alone and operate with their own ecological services and provide habitat for wildlife and want to see species diversity thriving and concerned about species at risk. I've been thrilled to find a company that lands in between industrial-minded forest practices and conservation.
J'ai fondé ACFOR pour justement restaurer la forêt acadienne et de voir que mes enfants vont avoir une forêt saine, un environnement sain pour des générations à venir. Donc c'était vraiment une passion de redonner à ma communauté.
So the assessment piece of our process is kind of like getting a physical at the doctor. We're measuring health, we're measuring different aspects that can help give us clues to how we might want to manage that forest. And we take all that information back and we write a prescription on how we might best serve that forest or serve the landowner's objectives. And then we work on developing a plan to actually implement that prescription. We're focused on restoring forest ecosystems, but we're also trying to reduce fossil fuel emissions by using the waste wood from forest treatments. So we sell some of the forest products to sawmills, which will turn them into houses or pulp or what have you. And the other portion, which is really underutilized in our treatments, is turned into energy, which will go to replace fossil fuels. So a great example of ACFOR Energy and what they do is they'll use the waste wood from the restorative forest management treatments and they'll burn them in a boiler to create energy. Just over in Moncton, we've replaced an oil boiler that would have consumed 75,000 liters of oil a year, and now it uses the waste wood from our restorative forest management treatments. Previous to this boiler, this energy was heated with oil that came from a different country, and now we're replacing it with wood chips that have come from 100 kilometers from this site. As climate change becomes more of an issue, one of our largest tools to slow this down or maybe even possibly reverse it one day is growing healthy forests. So restorative forest management in my mind, is going to continue to grow and offer lots of opportunities. When I go to work every day, I feel really fulfilled in what I do. We're helping ecosystems thrive with climate change, and not only are we creating healthier forests, we're using the byproduct of those treatments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. So it seems like the impact is twofold. What's really cool about forestry is I feel like I'm making a difference not only for this generation in reducing our greenhouse gases, but we're giving the forests the push they need in the right direction to thrive for my kids' generation and their kids' generation. It's really interesting to look at the next 100 years of this forest's health, and that's really the decisions we're making today.